Good morning and a very warm welcome to the Hockenheim ring for round 2 of the 2024 Euroformula Open Championship. We have not been here since 2019 and it is our first visit here with the Dallara 320 chassis. Qualifying about to get underway. It's a 20-minute session that will set the grid for both races 1 and 3. 3, of course, being the top 6 reverse grid race. And how wonderful it's going to be to see these cars back out on this circuit again. We will keep a very close eye on that lap record of a 1:33.039 set by Yuki Tsunoda during our last visit to Hockenheim. Chris Stevens and Ewan Dunlop in the commentary box this morning. Ewan, it's a lovely morning here at Hockenheim, isn't it?
It is an absolute pleasure to be here. Like yourself, first ever trackside visit to Hockenheim. Came off course yesterday, had to walk around the track in the sunshine. Absolutely stunning. Great to see the stadium section in person for the very first time, and looking forward to 2 absolutely full days of track action as well.
Yes, it's quite a packed schedule, and for Euroformula, it's a busy day as well, because rather unusually we have 2 races today, rather than just the usual 1 qualifying and 1 race, and then the 2 races, the 2 reverse grid races on Sunday. So slight quirk of the schedule there, but having spoken to Jakob Bergmeister about it yesterday, he actually kind of prefers this kind of setup. We welcome back Paolo Brajnik to the championship, the Gold Cup driver. That's for drivers aged 35 years or over. Wasn't able to be with us in Portimao, but he's back in his NV Racing number 212 machine. That's a very familiar livery as well for the former Superbike champion. As the first flying lap's about to get underway. So a reminder, the benchmark time from our last visit was 1:33.039, although in free practice earlier, so bear in mind that's a race time. Brad Benavides has been the foreman during the 2 free practice sessions yesterday. His fastest time of 1:32.256 set in FP2. And yeah, a few changes since the our last visit here. New chassis, of course, the Dallara 320 chassis. As last time we were here with the 2017 chassis, and of course Pirelli tyres, which we didn't have last time we came here. Michael Shin, a new driver on the grid. The 19-year-old South Korean racer joins us from the Formula Regional Oceania Championship, which he took a victory in during the winter earlier in the year, and is set to do multiple races with the Motorpark team throughout this year. Of course, driving the car that Lorenzo Fluxer was in during the opener in Portimao, and that he took a win in. So we know that the car certainly got pace in it. Here's a look at Brad Benavides, our championship leader. Francesco Simonazzi making his way through the stadium section as well. He is 3rd in the championship standings, but we can consider him basically 2nd, because the man between him and Brad Benavides in the championship is Lorenzo Fluxer, but he's not doing a full title campaign. And you and I'm going to be watching them through turn 1 pretty closely, because they are going to be mega fast through that North curve.
They are incredibly agile, nippy little vehicles, aren't they? They're beautiful to watch. I was in the pit lane yesterday, just watching them whiz past. Even at low speeds along the pit lane, absolute joy to see them in front of us. You did mention our 7th driver this weekend, Paolo Brajnik, in the Gold Cup for drivers over 35, and formerly an acrobatic plane pilot. If anybody can navigate a nippy little machine, it is going to be Brajnik.
that's a really good way of putting it. I hadn't thought of that. Of course, yeah, Superbike champion in the European and the Italian championships some 10 years ago. Has turned his hand to car racing since then. Purple sector's starting to come in, but still very early days in the session, considering our benchmark time at the moment is 1:37, so some 5 seconds off the pace just yet. They're just warming up to it at the moment. It's still relatively early in the day. Slight chill in the air when we left the hotel this morning. Not quite the searing heat that we experienced yesterday afternoon, although I'm sure that will come by the time we get to the races a little bit later on today. First race due to get underway at 1:35 at local time. So that will probably be right in the thickness of the heat as Brad Benavides exits the final corner and comes up towards the line. Let's see what the first benchmark is. 1:31.846. So immediately we're going sub 1:32. That's the power of brand new tyres. And Benavidez laying down a early benchmark there.
The sun is rising as well. Track temperature is going to heat up as the morning continues. As you said, it was nippy this morning, making our way to the venue around about 8 o'clock this morning. But already you can feel the heat on your shoulders as you're walking around the venue. Another purple sector for Brad Benavidez. He had 2 second places and a win in Portimao. Leads the championship with 66 points over 59, the Spaniard Lorenzo Fluxa.
Yeah, so we can consider Simonazzi basically second in the championship, can't we? As Flux is not with us for the full campaign, but Simonazzi only 1 point further back than that. Of course, Simonazzi was our pole sitter in Portimao during the opening round of the season. Now, we haven't seen any movement yet from Jakob Bergmeister. I just wonder if there's any particular reason why he wouldn't have gone out in the early stages of this session. We're almost halfway through now, so we'll keep an eye on that. There were problems on his car in Portimao that led him to have to do a car change from Friday to Saturday. He's back in his old car now, but hopefully it is all running well, as Benavidez lowers the benchmark even further to a 31.624. He's 4/10 clear currently of Francesco Simonazzi, who's just gone second quickest. Purple in the first and third sectors of Benavidez. It's purple in the middle sector for Levente Revesh, the Hungarian racer, who is currently third quickest. Now, of course, remember this qualifying session setting the grid for, of course, race 1, but also for race 3, which will be a top 6 reverse grid race. And then race 2, our top 6 reverse grid race, which is based off of the race 1 results. As Benavidez lowers the benchmark even further, a 19.041 in the first sector. Simonazzi not quite able to pull the pace out on this particular occasion. So we keep following Benavidez, who took his first ever car racing win in Portimao last time out. Championship leader, as we mentioned, the 22-year-old from Florida, back in the Euroformula Open Championship. This is where he made his car racing debut back in 2018 in Barcelona. As he heads into the stadium section. Great place to watch the race from, and in fact that grandstand was pretty full yesterday when we arrived at the circuit. Can't wait to see what it's going to look like later in the weekend as Benavidez, he had a bit of a switch, and but maybe that was just him going for the pit lane. He was purple up on the lap up at that point, but deciding to abort that run.
Yeah, maybe something we didn't see in that third sector, because he was absolutely on fire there for another fastest lap, but maybe he thinks surely doesn't think 31.6 is good enough. Maybe he does, halfway through this qualifying 20-minute session. 11 minutes to play with. Yeah, still haven't seen Bergmeister. No, Bergmeister is a 4th-generation racer. Great-grandfather raced, and the best story I heard yesterday, you'll have known this already, Chris, but his grandfather, Willie, was a touring car driver and trained Michael Schumacher as an apprentice. Goes back into the 80s, incredible story, but as yet to see him on track.
Yes, his great-grandfather, a motorcycle racer, and then when his grandfather, Willie, wanted to race, he wanted to race motorcycles, and his great-grandfather said, no, if you cannot race the motorcycles, it's far too dangerous, you'll only race the cars. FIFO Barrichello now second fastest, 1:31.880, so a couple of tenths away, about a quarter of a second away from Brad Benavidez, who is in the pit lane, as is Michael Shin. FIFO in that fantastic blue and yellow car, which is nice and easy to spot. Had a obviously difficult start to proceedings in Portimao when he stalled off the line, and did eventually manage to get it going, but some way off the rest of the pack. Is yet to take a podium finish in the championship, but of course we're only into the second round, and he is of course joining us from the Formula 4 in Brazil and in Spain. Here is Brad Benavidez. Looks like a fresh set of boots on his car now. And there is Bergmeister there in the background. Just could see the blue helmet of the young Bergmeister. So car is in pit lane at least. And this is Levente Revesh. Now we've had deletion for Fernando Barrichello. That is the lap he just set.
Oh,
so
that's a shame.
that lap that just put him on the front row of the grid provisionally has just been deleted for track limits at turn 1. And track limits, I've asked where the track limit spots are, and people just tell me everywhere. It's turn 1, it's the exit of turn 4, it's the exit of the hairpin, it's in the stadium section, so yeah, pretty much everywhere.
I mean, it's a running theme at Portimao a couple of weeks ago. It was 200 infringements of track limits in free practice. So it's something they're used to, and there were a few penalties in the last couple of races too. First 2 rounds of the season, there were plenty of 5-second penalties, so they're well aware they're being watched, these drivers. It'll be interesting to see if they're a little bit more reined in during the races this afternoon.
I see there's another spot you can do it, but there's a nice big red curb on the outside there that will stop you going too wide. This is Paolo Brajnik just trundling his way back to the pits by the looks of it. He's currently 5th fastest, ahead of Fernando Barrichello, but of course his best lap did get deleted. We also had a track time deleted for Levente Revesh, but that was not his best lap actually by the looks of it, so he still sits there in 3rd fastest. So we're beyond the halfway point in this session, and it looks like we're just getting ready to get back going again. That's Fernando Barrichello getting some words of encouragement from Father Rubens. And of course they have working together very closely for this season with FIFO back racing in Europe once again. He did race in the Spanish F4 Championship a little bit last year, but also went back to Brazil to compete there.
See the haze there, that's how hot it is.
Yeah. So see Michael Shin there, just behind in the 23 car. The waiting spot here, he's got the white wing tips and the white wing mirrors. 1,000-mile stare of Brad Benavides as he looks to go back out again. So just as they're heading back out on track, it is Brad Benavides on provisional pole position with a 1:31.624. He's 4 tenths clear of Francesco Simonazzi, the BVM racing driver, in 2nd position. Levente Revesh only 0.5 tenth of a second away from him in 3rd. Then Michael Shin on his debut in the championship. And then Paolo Brajnik and FIFO Barrichello yet to set a representative time. And Jakob Bergmeister yet to set any lap time. So hopefully we'll get him back out there as Simonazzi taking to the track.
6.5 minutes remaining, get a few laps in, few flyers. Okay, can anybody catch Benavides and Simonazzi? They're going to be the 2 we're watching later on for the very likely championship as we progress through the weeks and 8 rounds of this competition. And he's just making his way around the car number 84. Just 20 years of age, the Italian. It did amaze me yesterday walking around how young so many of these guys look as well.
The impressive thing about Francesco is how this season he's combining this championship with his studies in the UK, and he's doing so well with the English accent as well. He actually sounds like a London local. He's getting the slang down and everything.
Does he call you Gov?
We're not quite there yet. But I did teach him a few words that I can't really repeat on air.
Okay, yeah.
So. So Simonazzi making his way through the final 2 corners. The flamboyant Italian, flamboyant in his driving style, but keeping it neat and tidy as it stands.
Right, let's get some flying laps in. They're all coming around the stadium section.
Flicking it into the Nord curve. Looks actually quite tame through there, actually. I wonder if he's just on a build-up lap, potentially. Slight glitch on the timing there, you can ignore that. See when he gets down there. Bergmeister is out on track, so he will be able to get a lap in, and yes, this is definitely a build-up lap for Simonazzi, 21.1 in the first sector, so this is not going to be troubling any of the top times anytime soon. It's so interesting how they have to build up the tyre temperatures in these Pirellis, and then in an odd way have to then manage them in the race as well, which is 18 laps or 30 minutes, whichever comes first. So Simonazzi slowly building up to it, and it looks like everybody's doing the same as well. Everyone's taking the same sort of approach, so we're on the build laps here. Simonazzi keeping it neat and tidy, just slowly trying to bring in that Pirelli tyre temperature.
Nice to see all Southern on track though. Just far position here, the start-finish straight. So we'll come around the stadium section, around the sud curve, and then foot down. Get to potentially 3 laps in.
Yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it? Yeah, just under 4 minutes left on the clock. Simonazzi comes over the line and starts now what should be a proper flying lap. That looked a bit more committed through turn 1 that time. Getting up on the curb on the outside there as Simonazzi makes his way down towards turn 2. Let's see what the sector time is when he cuts the beam on the exit of this left-hander here. And it's half a second down. So
wow.
We're not quite there just yet. It's a 19.6. So we've still got a bit of time to find here. And yeah, FIFO's just gone past our commentary box position as well. So the rest of the cars are on their full flying laps now. Simonazzi makes his way out of the hairpin, keeping it neat and tidy on the exit and flicking it now through the flat-out right-hander at turn 7 and into the Mercedes-Benz grandstand. Personal best for Levente Ravesh and Michael Shin, who are starting to close down that gap. Of course, Bergmeister's done a personal best because that's his first flying, well, first full-pace flying lap, we'll say. And it is, it's pretty quick. It's quicker than Shin's so far, but not quite enough to match the pace of the top 3 just yet. As Simonazzi still continuing to lose a little bit of time on this lap so far. Benavides isn't improving either, but purple in the middle sector has gone Levente Ravesh, the Hungarian. So Simonazzi comes across the line. This probably won't be an improvement, and it's not. 32.1, still a little ways off. Did set the fastest final sector though, so the car's coming into its own now. This is Brad Benavides, and then Levente Ravesh here, fastest in the middle sector. Let's see where he can put the car. He goes 3rd fastest, or...
oh, well, Shin just gone quicker. Shin just put in a 1:32.493 to move very temporarily up to 4th, but Bergmeister keeps ahead of him by around about 2.5 tenths of a second. So Shin back down to 5th. Still waiting for Barrichello to put in a really good time. Hasn't gone quicker in sectors 1 and 2.
Well, he needs to make sure he puts 2 laps in because he will have his best lap deleted because he's had more than 3 track limits breaches. So he's going to have to do 2 very quick laps now in a very short space of time. Now, yeah, Levente Ravesh still showing as 3rd fastest. Just looked up his pace going into turn 6 there. It's been another good first sector. I wonder if he breached track limits on that lap, and that's why he hasn't seemed to progress any further, because it did seem like he was on a very good lap there. So let's see if the 19-year-old can improve that performance, as Benavides going quick in the 1st sector and in the middle sector. He's purple in the middle sector by some half a second. Great pace here by the Floridian. He is coming up on a little bit of traffic though. Just wonder if that wake is going to affect him in the final sector. We're going to find out. It's Michael Shin that's in front of him, as the Floridian makes his way through these final 2 corners, drives up towards the line. Might be close enough to just get a very, very small toe. Still goes fastest though.
Simonazzi closes the gap temporarily, ever so slightly, on Benavides. Got within 1.5 tenths of a second, but that lap from Benavides, 1:31.134. That's 0.7 of a second clear now.
Yeah, great pace here by Brad Benavides. He is, well, he's now 9 tenths clear, because it seems like Simonazzi's yeah, time has been removed as well, or the timing screen's just been updating. And well, I can quite confidently say now that Fernando Barrichello will start 7th, because he's also lost his 2nd best lap time as well, as that was a very close moment there between Benavides and Michael Shin down at the hairpin. But yes, a 4th, well, more than 4 track limits breaches now for Fernando Barrichello. So he's lost his best lap time and his 2nd best lap time And, well, he is currently 7th, and these next 2 laps aren't going to count. Checkered flag is out.
2 green sectors for Simonazzi, currently lying in second. It won't be good enough. Sure, he can't close the gap in the 3rd sector to Benavides, so the 1 and 2 pretty much locked out. Also got Shin. Again, Barrichello's time out there was 0.1 of a second quicker in the 1st sector. Just keep an eye on Shin here. Can he move himself onto the 2nd row of the grid? We'll find out in about 10 seconds' time. Almost a second quicker than he's been thus far, 0.9. Just coming into the final couple of turns, and he'll go across the line. And he will go quicker, but it won't be quick enough to move him up the grid order.
Yeah, Michael Shin, 5th fastest there. Not a bad effort in his first qualifying session. Only 7 or a 10th of a second away from Francesco Simonazzi. But it will be Brad Benavides on pole position for this afternoon's opening race of the weekend. Levente Revesh has gone 2nd fastest, and Jakob Bergmeister left that very late, didn't he? He suddenly popped up to 3rd fastest, did his best lap right at the end there. And yeah, 3/4 of a second away from Benavides. Wow, and yeah, so Simonazzi right at the end there. His final lap time, I think it must have been deleted because his last lap time was a 31.599. Which would have put him on the front row of the grid, but he is down in 4th. So Benavides out of the car, thumbs up from the Floridian. Shaking hands, and he will start on pole position. His first pole position in the Euroformula Open Championship. It's 1 apiece now between himself and Simonazzi.
Super impressed with Bergmeister there. Didn't even bother with the first half of the qualifying session, but pulled it out. 5 laps completed only, the lowest of anybody else on the grid, and got his fastest lap with that final lap, 1:31.9, hitting 2nd row of the grid this afternoon.
Brad's even beaten them all back to the pits as well. They're all still making their way back to Parc Fermé. And now hopefully we'll be able to hear from Brad soon. But Levente Revesh there will be starting on the front row of the grid. We'll be hoping to add a couple of extra podiums to his campaign. Did miss out on that in Portimao, sadly, but of course has scored podiums before in the Euroformula Open Championship, 2 in his debut weekend, in fact, at Monza last year. So he makes his way back into the pits. GT Sports staff there ready to weigh the drivers and get all the post-session checks that are needed. Here's the results of qualifying then. It's Brad Benavides on pole position ahead of Levente Revesh. Jakob Bergmeister leaving it late, but putting it on the 2nd row of the grid ahead of Francesco Simonazzi. Michael Shin on his debut will start 5th ahead of Paolo Brajnik. And Fernando Barrichello not registering a legal lap time in the end there, because his 3 best laps are not going to count for this session. And we can hear from Michael now.
Pole position in Hockenheim. Good morning, a good start of the day for you.
Yeah, definitely a good start to the day and to the weekend. As you know, today, Saturday, is going to be quite a busy day as we have 2 races ahead of us. So it's definitely a good start to the weekend and to the day, and yeah, happy because it's not only my first pole position in the championship, being that it's round 2, but it's also my first pole position in my career. So yeah, over the moon like last time.
And this track, what do you think? You knew it?
No, actually, yesterday was my first time driving around this track. It's actually nice, especially the last sector. Really enjoyed it with the banking, and it's also really technical. Sector 2 with the long straight and then a really slow hairpin, which is T6. So yeah, it's really enjoyable for sure, and nice to have full position around here.
And it's nice weather, so it will be a nice race.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to get really hot later on today, almost like 27 degrees. So a little bit too much for me, for my liking. This is perfect temperature, which is quite cool in the morning. But yeah, no, it's for sure going to be enjoyable.
Well done for now, and see you later.
Well, Brad Benavides will be starting on pole position for race 1, which gets underway at 1:35 this afternoon, local time. We'll see you then.